Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning trading room. And of course, today, the first day of summer. Woohoo! We're having a bit of a heat wave here to start off summer, which is a little bit unusual. A lot of times we will get actually kind of cool weather to start the summer here in the Pacific Northwest, but not this year. All right. Yesterday's session did remain more or less sideways as suspected, and the market didn't move. Well, it did move, but it didn't end up going that far through the overnight. You can see there's a fairly violent swing lower during the European session, a little bit of a rally during the Asian session, but where the North American session left off and where we're starting today is pretty much in the same price zone. So it'll be interesting to see how things progress from there. Of course, we are just within the first few minutes of the open. We do have a couple of signals building. Here on the, well, first here on the Hawk, you can see we're producing a red bar buy, which tends to develop near the end of a trend. So you could actually set up to short the trade on the failure of that signal. The Falcon also now producing a late filter entry / trend change signal, one on top of the other. And that signal has engaged. And of course, not to be left out, we have the Raptor with the counter trend signal. The cloud wasn't overly broad. It looks like it was about, well, I guess it was 10 points, wasn't it? From around 73.13 to 73.25. That's 40 ticks. We'll give them a few minutes here. See if we don't get a more defined trend before we actually get on board. All right, so now we're pretty much bearish across the board, all except the Eagle. The Eagle moving now into the hard edge of the trading band. We do have another first micro macro cross signal here on the on the hawk, and if they don't run away, I might try that one. Oop. There we go. I'll even get a second push opportunity on that one. So the first micro-macro cross occurs when the micro line and macro lines cross over. Oh dear, there's some serious slippage in there. I think they slipped me a couple of ticks. Stinkers. I'm going to eliminate my break even. Yesterday I had a little bit of an issue with the break even. Let's take a look here at the support and resistance suite, see where the next line falls. Okay, so we got one here at 73.07, then we're all the way down to 72.87. That's kind of swinging for the fences, but hey, I'm okay with that. I think it's probably time to take this one to break even. I was wondering where you were, Mark. Mark says, good morning, Eric. Well, good morning, Mark. That late filter entry was good to me, hitting both my profit targets. First day of trading this week after finally getting my internet back up and running. It's time to find a new internet provider. Yes, it sounds like it. Darn it. They're going to tag me at break even again. When am I going to learn? Okay, so let's take a look at the late filter entry signal. This one right here. So the key components to the late filter entry signal. First, your trend line does not change color. The filter, however, goes out of sync and comes back into sync. That's very important. And you can see the filter or the trend line fairly flat here. That's a very strong signal when it develops that way. Okay, so the hawk now back to the macro line. We've printed a yellow bar, although we are also working a 4-arrow consolidation. Now, I haven't shown you one of these for a while. I've been focusing on the Raptor a lot, but let me show you this 4-arrow consolidation. So the whole point of a 4-arrow consolidation is that it tends to have the shape of a bear flag or a bull flag, as the case may be. Oh, didn't I just say I was going to take profit? Here we go. Let's set a nice profit target right there, and we'll take a little bit extra for our trouble. There we go. Now the 4-arrow consolidation is a continuation pattern. Now these types of patterns tend to repeat on the other tools as well. Here the Falcon actually a little bit more conflicted. The Falcon, the trend line going a little bit out of sync here. And let's take a look now at the Raptor, and you can see we've produced an early trend change signal, an early #1 signal. So it's not going to print as a #1 because the clouds are not fully crossed yet. However, it is certainly setting up as a number one signal. So you could do the same thing. You could look to short that, and that's essentially the same as that 4-arrow consolidation on the hawk. The market's actually a little bit balanced at this point. We're a little bit neutral as we try to close in on 7,300. And a little bit more bullishness coming in. Or not. Okay, so now you can see the clouds. Well, as far as the programming is concerned, the clouds are fully crossed at this point. We've had the pullback, and so now we're producing that number one signal on the Raptor, which is our cloud crossover signal, which is one of our high probability signals. This resistance line here, the support at 73.07.5 being a little bit sticky right now. All right, we're going to take it to break even. Hooray, hit our profit targets. Hooray. So nice little move lower there. There is room for the market to continue lower. It looks like we are a little bit bearish this morning. My target would be down here, 72.87 and a quarter. 72.90 would be a nice little profit for that. But just for a change, I took profit on target rather than leave it on the table yet again. A little bit of a pullback now. As we, well, it was an early flinch. Didn't get all the way down to 72.90. Only about halfway there so far. And now we're just kind of neutral. All right. Okay, a big bullish pushback from there. Well, we're just kind of sitting here now, aren't we? Just kind of flip-flopping back and forth. Oh, the market trying to get bullish again here. So we've got like a first micro macro cross-set printed back here, working another macro pullback, maybe a 4-arrow consolidation. A trend change here on the Falcon as well. The Raptor not quite ready to commit to a buy signal yet, as is the Eagle. Oh, we're just kind of drifting again. We're still trading within yesterday's trading range. All right, back to the hard edge. Again, just very neutral here at the moment. The Eagle and the Raptor mildly bullish, the Hawk and the Falcon mildly bearish. So again, we're just kind of balanced. Very often, if you don't know what to do, the best thing to do is not do anything. There was a During the Apollo moon missions, there was a flight director. His name was Christopher Columbus Craft. Chris Craft. I know. His parents, I'm sure there were Chris Craft boats at the time. Maybe his parents didn't like him, naming him Christopher Columbus and Chris Craft. But at any rate, his motto when they were doing the Apollo missions was, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. The idea, of course, is if you don't know what you're doing and you do something, you're just going to mess things up. So, not a bad piece of advice. If you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Okay, so things getting a little bit more bearish again. Or trying to. Mark says, my grandfather always used to say, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Aren't grandfathers great for advice? I keep trying to drop these nuggets on our grandson as well. So, sometimes he gets it. Sometimes I just get a funny look from him, especially now that he's getting a little older. Okay, I may just about be ready to try another sell signal. Here do we have a macro pullback? Oh, we do. The trend line, the micro line out of sync. So this is a macro pullback signal here on the hawk. If you're looking for an excuse to get short. The Falcon here with the basic trend line touch signal now. With the warning dots, we don't have the completed signal just yet. And no doubt the lows or this reactionary low and the fact that we're trading back at 7,300 is going to have something to do with that. All right, I'll go with the parabolics on this one, and hopefully we will see the market make a decent move lower here now. The parabolic strategy, of course, very useful for trying to maximize a move. You see the parabolics start a little bit looser, and then as the trade starts to lose momentum, it will bring in the stops very, very quickly. However, sometimes you can see, as in the case right here, it may have actually been a little bit too quick, as there was yet another very strong move afterwards. So it looks like we did make it back down now to 72.90. Hey, way to go, Dan. Dan picking up a few ticks on that move. And so far, this is progressing into a very strong move lower. I think yesterday's gap was somewhere around the 72.70 range. Could it be we're going to try to get into that gap? Definitely seeing some added volatility here this morning and some decent follow through. Makes me think Friday's going to be a bit of a dud, but we'll see. And I can tell by the way the parabolics are getting a little bit cozy to the price bars that some of the momentum is starting to wane. spoke too soon. Gee, maybe I should say that all the time. And the market will make a nice big move. The momentum is starting to wane. That's almost as good as my magic mouse. And we're going to get tagged here in a second. As the momentum is starting to wane, no, it wouldn't work a third time. Okay, well, that was a fairly decent move. And like I said, you know, these types of signals, they tend to replicate on the other tools as well. Here on the Eagle, we would have got a very nice trend change signal occurring right here. If you had the nerve, well, actually, this would have been a tough green bar sell to take because the band was already turning bullish at that time when this printed. The market really didn't have too much going for it. But right here, once you got the trend change going on, then it was a little bit easier to get on board, and of course, a very solid move lower as a result. And here we are, we're only 40 minutes into the session. My day would be done. I don't think I'd be taking any other trades today. I've had 3 profitable trades. That would be my quota. And that's just on single contracts. Had we traded 2 contracts or 3 contracts, it would easily be a 4-figure day today. Thanks, Mark. Mark says, nice trade. I'm just glad it didn't bounce back to my break even again, because then I would have had to listen to Scott tell me to go to break even +2. That's the worst part. Just that little needling. Yeah, see? I know. There he goes. +2. Can't resist. That may well be the move of the day, folks. There could be a little bit of a pushback from here now, especially here on the Raptor, our band getting very broad, and that does open up the market to a pullback to the hard edge if we produce a number 2 signal. All right, well, let's put that on the shelf for the moment. Yeah, you see here the hawk also starting to get a little bit more bullish looking. So it looks like we may be encountering a retrace. So here now the hawk working a first micro macro cross and a macro pullback higher. Oh, that yellow bar is going to spoil it though. You'll have to wait for a 4-arrow consolidation. So another signal here, a fourth signal to confirm that there is going to be a little bit of a bullish pushback here. Caution is in order because this is a very, very strong downtrend. I would consider scalping out for a little scalp target, but I think it might be asking a lot for a full-blown reverse. Okay, here now the warning dots for a first micro macro cross. Late filter entry signal here on the Falcon, so the Falcon definitely looking bullish, looking for a rally. Again, you need to temper the signal with the context of the chart. And, as Chris Kraft said, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do anything. Getting the bit of a slow grind to the hard edge now, back at 72.90 where we, 72.87 3/4 where we have this resistance zone. I'm surprised this signal right here did not print as a number 2. Probably one of two reasons. Probably one of two reasons. I just realized I was playing with my Raptor pre-market and I changed my Raptor number 2 signal back to the default sensitivity setting. That's probably why it did not print. When I was looking over my Raptor, I saw I was getting too many number 2 signals, so I decided to dial back the sensitivity a little. Oh, no, looks like it didn't print anyhow. Either this was not enough of a test of the extreme, or the signal itself was too far from the previous low. And this is a perfect example why you avoid counter trend trades in a strong trending market. When you have an obvious trend, as tempting as those counter trend moves are, it's best just to stay with the trend as much as you can. that could have been a fairly expensive little adventure. I would have set it up like so and down there. Oh, it did hit the profit target though before it reversed. So if you were smart enough to take profit on target, you probably would have snuck past that one before the sellers showed up and stomped the daylights out of the buyers. Look at that crazy move. Oh my gosh, the market's in free fall. How many zones are we deep? So here's the median, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zones working on a fifth. We still have a few zones to go, so we're not going to run out of lines just yet, but that is a monster move. I thought 72.87 was a home run. I never imagined we would see 72.50 today. All right, well, not much I can do right now except review a couple of signals here on the Eagle prior to that move. We got the green bar sell. This coincided with the Raptors number 3 signal, by the way. And the nice thing about this green bar sell is it has that characteristic bear flag shape, right? Whenever you see the market, well, first off, whenever you see a trend, and then you see the market make this nice tight little channel reversing against the trend, hopping back and forth a little bit, that is a flag formation. In this case, a bear flag because it's a downtrend. And you can see we had a very favorable result from there. And the hawk now, oh, actually this swing was fairly aggressive as well. Got all the way into green bars before the buyers got run over. So here we are back into green bars. A green bar sell on the hawk. These types of signals do tend to develop near the end of a trend. Not calling the trend over just yet, though. Very often we can see 2 or even 3 green bar sells before the final reversal. I gotta check the news. What in the world are they saying is causing this? No, I don't see anything. All right, things getting perhaps a little bit more of a bottom now. You can see here on the Eagle, things getting a little bit broader, not nice pullback like here, but getting a little bit flat. And I bet the Raptor is going to produce a number 2 signal as a result, and sure enough, it did. Number 2 signal right here. It's something to bear in mind too with your number 3 signals. You know, when the market starts to get a little bit flat, when you get some sideways trading going on versus, again, the nice pullback of this number 3. The nice steeper pullback versus the flat pullback. Very active morning here this morning. Again, I don't think this is something we want to get overly aggressive on, although it does appear as though we may have something resembling a bottom at this point. We are back into the hard edge of the Eagle and the Raptor. The Hawk and the Falcon fairly conflicted here at the moment. We'll see if it gets high enough here to produce a number 1 signal or perhaps even an early number 1 signal. Surely there must be some profit taking or traders thinking about profit taking. So very, very neutral right now. The band quite conflicted, starting to twist up like a rope, really. The Hawk very neutral as well. Loads of yellow bars. So I think we can put our feet up here for a moment. All right, so it looks like we may get a bull break here after all, and the clouds crossing over to the point where you could call it an early number one signal. We're getting the warning dot. We're going to produce the signal somewhere about there, or actually just produce the signal, so we can even do a second push on it. I think you should be thinking pullback, and keep in mind that the overall trend is down. Let's see if it can sneak up there though. And we would have found the profit target on that one as well. Not one I would want to run out too far because of the very, very strong downtrend. But a decent move all the same. And now, of course, we're getting the whole number one, the completed number one signal. I would consider that to be counter trend. On a day like today. But as I mentioned earlier, I think we've probably seen the move of the day. That's been a pretty monstrous move to the short side. It is possible that the market is still going to move around a little bit, but it's probably going to end up in a bit of a sideways range for the rest of the session. Whether it's going to be a little range like this or maybe even get back here to 72.90. Actually, that might be kind of ambitious. I can see 72.70 maybe. And how am I seeing that, you say? Well, I'm just kind of looking back here in the chart and seeing where the market reacted earlier and extending that this way. Which gives me a possible range such as this. Overall, however, I do believe you'll still be better off looking at sell signals. Funny thing is, that would make this number 2 signal actually a with trend signal, not a counter trend signal. So once again, using our second push strategy, I'm not going to take it, but rather I'll just highlight it here for you. We'll see whether or not it can go with trend if the dominant trend is going to prevail here. Well, look at that. There we go. Shoot, could have picked up another $200. What was I thinking? And now producing the number 1 signal on the short side. So we got a few things going on here. But as I mentioned earlier, we probably have seen the move of the day, and as a result, we can probably expect the market to move a little bit more sideways for the remainder of the session. And you can see some of that sidewaysness starting to develop now. Getting a little bit more background highlights printing. The signal's consistent though. For the most part, we're still looking to short. And this number 3 actually offering a second push opportunity as well. So you could probably frame it like that. Not ideal though. Remember how I said when the market, those number 3 signals, when the market's a little bit more sideways going into the number 3 signal, it's not as desirable as when you have a nice flag type pullback. Not sure we're going to see anything more out of the market this morning, you know that. Just keep going back and forth. I think if you're in doubt, short. That's not a rule of thumb. I mean, today, the trend is down. The market's obviously consolidating a little bit here. And there may even be a bit of a move higher. Like I say, a move to 72.70 would not surprise me. But just given the overall trend today, I think you'll find yourself better off on the short side than trying to buy it. Well, Although this big flattening area, you know, if we connect the dots and we connect the lows, we're getting this kind of look. Yeah, so maybe we will get a rally from here after all. Nothing I don't think I'm going to try to put any money on. As we keep retracing the same prices around the 72.50 zone. Just looking back now at some of these signals, I'm just thinking, you know, even if you just stayed with the overall trend, I guess we did get one counter trend signal here, but the rest of these were all signals to short, and it did eventually drift low enough to find your target, but oh my goodness, what a mess preceding that. Ooh, yuck. All right, gang. I think I know it's a little bit early here, but honestly, I can't see anything else developing here. I think the market's going to keep thrashing about like this. Expect a pullback, expect a sideways range. I can't see that we're going to fall off much more today. Here now, the daily chart. Seems like a more dramatic move than that, doesn't it? But there we go. We're retracing Wednesday's range. For those of you like your candlestick patterns, that's going to be, assuming it closes low, it's going to be an engulfing type pattern, which may encourage more selling for Friday. We shall see. A safe trip, Mark. See you next Wednesday. And the rest of you, I will see tomorrow. Bye for now.